Let's be real for a moment. Many of you watching this, you've felt lost. You've been in the moment with a woman, intimate, trying to connect. But underneath it all, you're wondering, am I doing it right? Do I understand her? You're not just talking about the act itself. You're talking about trust, connection, and understanding the very signals that she's giving you. Here's the truth: intimacy is messy, it's raw, and it's beautiful, but it's also revealing. Her body communicates in ways that words never could, if only you knew how to listen. And that white, creamy discharge you notice, it's not just a physical reaction. It's a window into her feelings, her comfort, and her emotional connection to you. Most men ignore these signs. They're too focused on performance, too focused on themselves, too focused on rushing the moment. But here's the thing: a real man notices, he understands, he responds with empathy. Not just in bed, but in life. You see, mastering this is not about knowing anatomy or memorizing techniques. It's about understanding people, understanding emotions, understanding the subtle ways a woman's body and mind speak without words. And today, we're going to break it down: 6 key truths about intimacy, connection, and emotional awareness, so that when you're in that moment, you're not guessing. You're leading with understanding. You're leading with value. You're becoming the man she feels safe with, the man she trusts, the man she can open up to completely. Let's start with something most men completely overlook. Intimacy isn't just physical, it's emotional. And if you think you can skip the emotional part and still connect on a deeper level, you're setting yourself up for failure. You see, a woman's body doesn't respond to just touch or technique. Her body responds to how safe, respected, and understood she feels around you. That creamy discharge, the subtle signs of arousal, it's not just a reaction to your touch. It's a reflection of trust. It's her body saying, I feel safe here. I can let go with you. I can be vulnerable with you. Most men get it wrong. They rush, they push, they think performance equals connection. They focus on what they want and ignore what she feels. But the truth is, emotional comfort is the silent key that unlocks intimacy. It's in the little things, the way you look at her when she talks, how patient you are, whether you respect her boundaries without complaint. When she feels emotionally secure, her body responds naturally, effortlessly, in ways that no amount of technique can force. Creating this comfort isn't about fancy gestures or expensive dates. It's about presence. It's about being fully there, listening more than speaking, noticing more than assuming. It's about making her feel understood without her having to explain everything in words. This is where men separate themselves from boys: the ability to hold space for a woman's emotions, to make her feel safe, to release stress, tension, and vulnerability in your presence. Think about it. When was the last time you were truly relaxed with someone? When someone listened without judgment, without rushing, without wanting something in return. That's what women crave in intimacy. That's what leads to trust, and trust leads to real, meaningful connection. So before you focus on performance or trying to impress her with your skills, ask yourself, am I making her feel safe? Am I showing her she can trust me with her body and emotions? Because if you get this right, everything else, physical pleasure, emotional closeness, deep connection, will naturally follow. Emotional comfort isn't just a step in intimacy. It's the foundation, the invisible energy that transforms a physical encounter into a moment of real connection that she will remember long after the night ends. Let's get real. Intimacy is full of subtle signals. Her body talks long before her mouth does, and most men, honestly, fail to notice. That white, creamy discharge you see during sex isn't just a biological reaction. It's a message. It's a sign of trust, arousal, and emotional safety. And yet, how many men dismiss it as just part of sex? Too many. That's where the mistake happens. If you want to be a high-value man, a man she feels truly connected to, you need to pay attention to her signals. Every tiny flicker, every shift in her breathing, every touch of her hands. Your problem isn't ignorance, it's attention. You're focused on performance, on what you think matters. But here's the hard truth. She doesn't just want a body that knows positions. She wants a man who sees her, who notices the unspoken, who reacts with awareness and care. When her body responds, that's your cue. It's telling you she's comfortable, she's engaged, she's letting herself be vulnerable. Ignoring it is like ignoring her feelings, disrespectful, careless, and ultimately destructive. Reading her signals isn't complicated, but it requires presence. Look at how her breathing changes when you touch her in certain ways. Watch her eyes, her smile, the way she moves with you. Listen to the small noises she makes, the sighs, the moans, the quiet shifts of comfort or discomfort. Every gesture is a message. Every subtle reaction tells you how connected she feels to you in that moment. And don't mistake this for control. Not at all. This isn't about manipulating her response. It's about understanding and reciprocating. Responding to her signals shows empathy, attentiveness, and emotional intelligence, the very qualities that make a man high value. It's not just about pleasure, it's about connection, respect, and trust. Remember, intimacy is a two-way street. You can't just give, you must also receive and interpret. The white discharge, the shiver down her spine, the soft touch of her hands, they're all cues. Your job isn't to judge them or force them. It's to recognize them and honor them. When you do this, you're no longer just a partner in the act. You're a source of emotional safety, a man who sees her fully and responds with care. That is power. That is connection. That is what makes a woman feel truly seen. Here's a truth most men never fully grasp: intimacy isn't just about talking. It's about understanding without words. Most men think they need to ask, check, or explain everything to connect with a woman during sex. But the reality is far more subtle, far more powerful. A woman communicates constantly through her eyes, her body, her energy, even her silence. And if you're not tuned in, if you're not truly present, you'll miss it all. Think about it. How often do you feel misunderstood in life when someone hears your words but misses your tone, your posture, your energy? That's exactly what happens in intimacy when men focus solely on physical performance. She's giving you signals that show how comfortable, excited, or vulnerable she feels. But if you're not paying attention, you're blind to them. And when a woman feels unseen in intimacy, no matter what you do physically, the connection will always feel shallow. Real intimacy happens in silent communication. It's in the way she arches her back, the way her hands move toward you, the subtle changes in her breathing, the small noises she makes. It's in the pauses, the soft touches, the way she looks at you when she trusts you. Every action is a wordless sentence telling you how to respond, how to guide, how to deepen the connection. The men who master this aren't the ones who memorize positions or techniques. They're the ones who listen with their eyes, feel with their hands, and sense with their hearts. They understand that communication transcends words. They respond to what's unspoken, honor her signals, and adjust naturally without judgment or ego. That's what makes a woman feel truly seen and safe. And let's be real, this is hard for most men because it requires patience, presence, and emotional intelligence. It requires letting go of your own agenda, your need to perform, to impress, to dominate, and instead asking yourself, what is she telling me without saying a word? How can I honor this moment with her fully? When you do that, every touch becomes more meaningful, every glance more powerful, every connection deeper. Remember, a man who communicates without words is a man who creates trust, comfort, and intimacy that lasts far beyond the bedroom. This is how emotional connection becomes physical pleasure, and how simple moments turn into unforgettable memories. Let's be honest, desire is powerful. When you're in the heat of the moment, your body is screaming. Your mind is racing, and every instinct tells you to go for it fast, hard, now. But here's the reality: most men never fully grasp desire without respect is meaningless. You can be the most physically skilled, the most confident, the most attractive man, but if you don't respect her, her boundaries, her pace, her comfort, you will never build real intimacy. Not in the moment, and certainly not in the long term. Respect is the invisible foundation of trust. It's the quiet assurance that she is safe with you, that she can let herself be vulnerable without fear. Women can feel it instantly when a man's desire overrides his respect. It shows in rushed touches, ignored cues, impatience, or dismissive words. And let me tell you, nothing kills connection faster than a man who prioritizes his own gratification over hers. Being high value isn't about controlling the moment or asserting dominance. It's about listening to her body and emotions and letting that guide your actions. When she flinches, when she hesitates, When she softly pulls back, that's your cue to slow down, check in, and respond with care. Respect isn't weakness, it's strength. It's confidence in yourself and your ability to lead without forcing. It's understanding that true connection is built on consent, trust, and emotional alignment, not just physical achievement. And let's get this straight, respecting her doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean you lose your masculinity or your passion. It means channeling that desire intelligently, empathetically, and responsibly. It means reading her reactions, feeling her energy, and synchronizing your actions with her comfort and pleasure. When you master this, sex becomes more than just an act. It becomes an experience, a shared journey where she feels seen, heard, and safe. And you feel the power of a connection that goes far beyond the physical. The men who understand this are rare. They are men who prioritize her emotional safety, who respond to cues instead of forcing moments, who know that the strongest, most lasting intimacy comes when respect leads desire, not the other way around. And here's the thing, when respect trumps desire, pleasure doesn't suffer. It deepens. Emotional trust amplifies physical pleasure in ways that ego, force, or impatience never could. That's how you become a man she not only desires, but remembers, admires, and trusts completely. Here's a truth that most men never fully understand. Knowing about a woman's body, her reactions, and her emotional cues is not about control. It's about care. Society often teaches men to think of intimacy as a performance, a conquest, or a checklist. But high-value men know that true connection is about understanding, not objectifying. That white, creamy discharge you notice, the way she shifts in response to touch, the subtle changes in her breathing, these aren't things to manipulate. They are messages from her body and mind. And the more you understand them, the better you can connect on a deeper emotional level. Knowledge gives you confidence. It allows you to be present instead of guessing. When you understand how a woman's body responds to arousal, stress, or comfort, you can react in ways that make her feel seen, respected, and safe. But let me be clear, this is not about memorizing techniques or using her body for your gratification. It's about empathy. It's about recognizing that her reactions are a reflection of her trust in you and responding accordingly. Most men fail because they approach knowledge from the wrong perspective. They see anatomy as a tool, emotions as an obstacle, signals as steps to manipulate. But the truth is that emotional awareness combined with knowledge creates power that is gentle, caring, and magnetic. It allows you to guide intimacy with respect, to amplify connection, and to create moments she will never forget, not because of what you did physically, but because of how fully you understood her. And here's the deeper lesson. Knowledge transforms desire into connection. It turns physical intimacy into emotional intimacy. When you recognize the signals, understand her comfort, and respond with care, you become someone she can fully open up to, not just in the bedroom, but in life. She trusts you. She admires you. She remembers you. That is the power that comes from knowledge, not force, not manipulation, but understanding, empathy, and respect. So, let your knowledge be a bridge, not a weapon. Let it guide you to deeper emotional awareness, to attentiveness, and to a level of intimacy that transcends the physical. That's how you evolve from a man chasing desire to a man creating lasting, meaningful connection. The kind that changes her perception of intimacy forever, and the kind that transforms you into the man she truly respects and desires. Here's the ultimate truth: most men never realize physical intimacy fades, but emotional connection lasts. You can be strong, skilled, and confident in the bedroom, but if you lack emotional awareness, the impact you leave is temporary, fleeting. Women remember how they felt far more than what you did. That's why emotional mastery is the real power. It's what transforms an encounter from a momentary experience into a lasting memory, a story she carries with her long after the lights go out. Emotional mastery starts with presence. It's being fully aware of her reactions, her energy, and her comfort, not just following instincts or your own desire. When you can read her signals, respond to her needs, and create an environment of trust, something incredible happens. She lets herself be fully vulnerable with you, and vulnerability is sacred. It's where connection becomes real, where trust deepens, and where intimacy transcends the physical into something profoundly human. Most men overlook this because they equate strength with dominance and confidence with control. But high-value men know that true strength is the ability to regulate your own emotions while sensing and honoring hers. It's patience when she hesitates, attentiveness when she communicates silently, and empathy when she reveals herself without words. That awareness allows you to create moments where she feels completely safe, fully seen, and deeply valued. That is emotional mastery. And here's the magic. When you master this, it ripples into every part of your relationship. The bedroom becomes a place of trust, not just pleasure. Conversations flow without tension. Conflicts resolve with respect. Every touch, every glance, every shared laugh builds a foundation of intimacy that lasts far beyond any single encounter. Women remember men who make them feel safe and understood, not just desired. Emotional mastery isn't easy. It requires self-awareness, patience, and a willingness to put her emotional needs alongside your own. But the payoff is immense. You become more than just a partner. You become a man who leaves a lasting impact, a man who transforms ordinary intimacy into unforgettable connection. That's rare. That's valuable. That's what women talk about when they say, "He made me feel something I'll never forget." Remember, men who master desire without understanding leave fleeting impressions. Men who master emotion leave legacies of trust, respect, and deep connection. That is the ultimate power. That is the true essence of being a high-value man in love, intimacy, and life.